Hey guys, Chris Durry here. Today, this is going to be a final reveal of my 2021 Supercoach team, so let's get stuck in. So, here it is. Here's my team for 2021 for Supercoach. So, starting off in defence, Jake Lloyd, Rory Laird, Jordan Ridley, Caleb Daniels. So, for me, they're 6 keepers, pretty straightforward picks. Maybe a Ridley could just miss out on being that top 6 guy. Maybe Daniel if he really cops hard tags a lot of the time, but ultimately I feel pretty comfortable with those 4, and for me they were probably those 4 safest premiums. So from there, Hayden Young, Jordan Clark. So they're there to score me a lot of points, but also generate a lot of cash, and then I'll be making those 2 into premiums eventually. So with a Young, a Clark, they could both average 80. So I feel very comfortable selecting them both. And then from there on the bench, so I've gone Tom Highmore, Jordan Butts. So in defence, I could have someone like a Highmore on the field if he was named round 1. That would be a possibility. Even Jordan Butts, you probably could at a push. Both of them do have scoring capabilities, but my problem in defence is that there's just of those 2 are likely to play round 1, and that's almost no one in defence. There's no one with really good scoring capabilities there. So Lockie Jones, I don't think he'll be named for Port Adelaide round 1. Realistically, their defence is too strong. There's just too many names that are established. Even though he does look ready-made, that's just going to be a challenge there. So, so there's just not many options. And let's say a Highmore misses out on round 1 selection, then maybe I have to go to a Kazitsky. But even that, I'm not overly keen. He'd be lucky to average 50 this year, honestly, at Kazitsky. He had, obviously, that great game against North Melbourne in the Amy match, but that was an outlier. He's not doing that again this year. So you do have to be mindful of that and really understand the context of his score. So just the bench, I really wanted to go cheap in defence. I just didn't see any other way where I'd be reasonably comfortable with any sort of cash generation options. Maybe you might have the option of going, say, a Fife if you really want that captain loophole option in defence, but that might be the way where, let's say, a Highmore and Butts are selected. Maybe you can do that, but for me, I've been settled for quite a while on just having the 2 rookies in defence, just not seeing anyone else much as having cash generation potential of those likely to play round 1 and in those sort of initial rounds of the year. But moving on to my midfield, so Clayton Oliver, Zach Merritt, Patrick Cripps. So for me, they're keepers. Oliver Merritt, their obvious top 8 scorers. Patrick Cripps, he's got the history and previous scoring. So, if he's not going to be top 8, I think he's going to be very close too. So, given he's an underpriced premium, I'm comfortable selecting him given how well he fits my structure. Then for cash generation, I've got Dom Tyson, Braden Campbell, Tom Powell, Goulden, and I've got Scott in there as well. So for me, they're all going to score pretty well. They're all your 60 pluses. Dom Tyson, I think, will do quite a lot better than that. Even probably Campbell, Powell. So there's a few of them that can do pretty well this year for me in that midfield. And they're all going to generate a lot of cash, score well. They're all good, solid field options. If you've got maybe a Goulden or Scott on the bench, that's fine too. Depends on how you structure up. But I really wanted to take advantage of their scoring potential in the field, given it's a pretty limited rookie class. So on the bench, it's a very sad bench. Downey, Jordan, and McNeil. So I think probably a lot of people would have a bench similar to this, but none of them are going to score high. So avoid at all costs having any of these guys on the field for Supercoach, because they're just not going to score enough. If any of these guys average sort of 50, I would be impressed and a little surprised, honestly. So I think they're all sort of your sub 50 scorers. So given that they're bench guys and they're not going to make you a lot of money, so they're just there as backups, really, just to allow those other sort of capable scorers, I suppose, to play on the field and make you those points and make you that money. So be mindful of that. In the ruck, so Gawn and Grundy, I've gone your set and forget strategy. Ultimately, I was considering a Grundy Flynn option, or maybe a Grundy Draper, or some other sort of combination, but I really wanted to go the 2 keepers. It's just easier, and it just worked with the other players I wanted everywhere else. So for me, that was an easy one. If I wanted to go a captain's loophole, and I sort of toyed with that possibility through the ruck as well. That's viable, but then I'd have to upgrade in other positions. So maybe that'd mean I'd upgrade my midfield, but then I'd miss out on some of the I guess, rookie scoring. So I calculated that wouldn't be to my advantage ultimately, even though I do think that Agon will go down quite a lot in price this year. So, and his average will drop quite a bit. So that's sort of what I've been thinking about, but I've settled to start with Gon for round 1. Flynn on the bench, he'll make a lot of money. You could start him on the field if you wanted. He's going to score fine too, a bit like your Highmores and Butts. There is that viability there too, if you really want to play those aggressive rookie structures across those lines more so than I did. Forwards, you've got Dunkley, Martin, Phillips. So again, I'm looking at keepers there. Dunkley and Martin, they're safe sort of top 6 scorers. Phillips, a bit more speculative. But look, if he's not going to be a top 6 scorer, well, he's certainly an underpriced premium, and I don't think he'd be far off. I think he's a pretty safe top 10 forward, I would say. So if you're comfortable with that, then that should be fine. But he'll average 90 plus, I'd say, pretty comfortably. He could average 95, I'd say. So good selection, I feel. For cash generation, I've got Zeeble, Impey, Warner. Very comfortable with those guys. If Bergman's named around 1, he's someone I'd like to fit in, and maybe that means one of my rookie midfielders makes way, and then I do a bit of a restructure there. But I'm just not sure Bergman gets named round 1. So given that uncertainty for the purposes of this team, I've left him out and really prioritised rookies who I believe will be playing round 1. And then on the bench, so Fullerton and Rowe. So Fullerton gives me quite a lot of flexibility, but I think he's also going to score reasonably. So job security issues when you've got a McStay sort of returning, but it's still possible he holds his spot. So we'll have to wait and see that. But you might have some possible loophole potential there, or DPP switching through with the ruck divisions. So you've got a few options there. And then Rowe as well. So he's going to make money. He should play every week. Not quite someone I'd start on the field, but he'll generate good cash. So very comfortable selecting him there. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my previous Supercoach video where I did an earlier team reveal, but I also went through every player that, in my view, is round 1 relevant and that I gave strong consideration to. And in addition to that, I've also completed a rookie guide where I go through really everyone Jamara, Price and less, and really go into detail about their game and outline their viability from a Supercoach and fantasy perspective. So yeah, make sure you check that out also. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a like. And yeah, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell for future updates. And yeah, feel free to post your teams in the comment section below, and I'm happy to give advice or suggestions if that's of interest. Or if you want to ask me whether you should be picking this player or that player, I'm also happy to help with that. But anyway, see you in the next video.